welcome to another episode of the All Tense Podcast. I'm your co-host, Josh West. With me, as always, Clay Harris. And today, Clay, we're being joined by a very special guest. In addition to being an EOS implementer, he's also a certified PQ coach with positive intelligence and the creator of the Unconditional Leadership Habit Black Belt program, where he combines the business operating system of EOS with mental fitness systems to help business owners build cultures of trust and growth. Please welcome to the pod, Joe Heraldo. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Josh. And man, I work so hard to get to the point to be able to say what you just said so eloquently. So thank you so much, buddy, for summing that up nicely.
You got it. Feel free to use that move, Ford.
Right on.
What if at the beginning of everything you ever do is just Josh saying what you do? Like you just bring it around on like a little speaker? That'd be hilarious.
This episode of the All Tense Podcast is powered by Stretty, the EOS software people love. With EOS Pure Tools, plus additional collaboration and communication tools, you can run on EOS and execute on daily work all in one place. Learn more at Stretty.com. That's STRETY.com.
Joe, thank you for coming. For our listeners, Joe's a mentor and a friend, and but before we kind of dive into stuff, Joe, like that, there's a lot of words that Josh just said. Yeah. But what does that all mean? What does that all mean?
I think it started. It had to start with a meeting, a disruptive thing. I don't know about you guys, but when I started my EOS practice, I couldn't wait to finally get to that promise. 20 clients, working 2 days a week, right? I don't know about you guys, but I was all in the minute I heard that. What it also was a fucking trap. It was a trap for me in the fact that until I was there, I wasn't adequate enough. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not able to give that space that deserves that kind of accolade. I ended up with a lot of head trash. And at first I thought it was just me, something special to me, just because I'm a hyperachiever and I obsess over worrying. And I think that's what I think is needed to kind of break through. And I really realized a different way. You guys know we talk about with our leadership teams hitting the ceiling. And that's when you just get stuck, right? And one of the levels that we talk about hitting the ceiling is there's a corporate level where the whole business is hit the ceiling. Right? There's a departmental level where a division of the business can't keep up with the others that are rising, right? And then there's the individual level, and we kind of just mention it. And that's where I really saw the answer was. If you slow down, it's how we get stuck and how that shows up in our leadership. It really shows when it's coming from a place of fear versus a place of inspiration and safety and willing to learn. We call it entering the danger. Well, when you enter the danger and you're willing to see what this moment's trying to teach you, man, that's a lot healthier way to look at change. And that's kind of how this has formed, is just building a habit of thinking in the way that, when circumstances come to us, being able to do it from a healthy place rather than from a place of survival. And that's kind of what it just kind of carved over weeks and months. And now all of a sudden it seems to be a great place to help amplify the depth that our EOS clients need to go to get better. So I kind of created that.
See, so Joe, I kind of started out with the self-deprecating, I don't know if I could say that, and then you just ask him one question, then he kind of just flows, So it's I hear you, Joe. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, I think for our listeners, Joe, most of our listeners are hopefully. My mom is our number one listener. Just
shout out, Mom.
Yeah. But the rest of them hopefully are entrepreneurs. My mom was an entrepreneur back in the day. Anyway, and I think the thing that you said that I want to just kind of zoom in on a little bit is that there's a couple words there that I just want to pick on. One of them is that feeling of being stuck at an individual level is one idea, right? Company level, department level, individual level. And all of those things, departments and companies are made up of individuals.
Yes.
So like, what's the highest lever, right?
Yes.
Then the second thing that I want to zoom in on is that we do a lot of work as EOS implementers, working with teams to get smart. And we talk about getting healthy, but you use the word mental fitness. And I would love for you to kind of, because healthy means a lot of things to a lot of different people, but you use the word mental fitness, and I think you use that word on purpose.
Yes.
I don't think I know that you used it on purpose because I know you. And I'd love for you to just like spend a little, give me a little bit more on what mental fitness means, because I think that's the unlock for the individual thing you were talking about.
Yeah. Like, I mean, in terms of your physical health, guys, like that's something you've got to keep physically fit, right? And there's elements of, hey, do you know how to lift? Do you know how to do a bench press? Well, that's knowledge, that's awareness, and hey, do 3 sets or do HIIT training, whatever that may be. That's knowledge. That's one thing. You need to have that knowledge. I like to think about that as 10% of the way there, right? Because it's putting that knowledge in practice that truly creates mastery. That's how you hit your personal best in your bench press. And that's how I really look at the healthy part and mental fitness, is truly building that practice in being healthy. It's one thing to know it, especially when there's no panic and you're just looking through a textbook or staring at a whiteboard. Yeah, I get healthy. But when the shit hits the fan, you better be prepared for that, because the pressure, you can't see straight. And that's what I mean by mental fitness, is building a habit in the way that you receive your thoughts, learn from your thoughts, and react to your thoughts. You know, like if you think about, and when you're really mentally fit, like entrepreneurs practice all the time, right? Like we're practicing with our businesses. We're practicing, doing moonshots, right? And when that moonshot's humming along, and then all of a sudden it game changes from things like COVID to AI introducing itself. And when we react out of fear, that's how I think, hey, I better be mentally fit. If I'm not mentally fit, I'm more likely to react out of fear because I'm out of shape. It's been a long time I've been in the gym. I'm not used to this level of load. And so mental fitness to me is just doing the reps to raise the level of your resilience, your ability to rebound from something that might seem like it's driving fear. But if you are really mentally fit, it could be the reason why you're here, and could be the reason you're ready to break through, if you're willing to take it. That takes mental fitness.
Joe, when I was preparing for today's pod, one of the big questions I had in my mind, that because also the experience that I've had in the room, is that sometimes we can give clients great tools, but and Clay, as well, that if we don't have a healthy team, then sometimes all of those tools and disciplines aren't going to make a hill of beans. We've still got to have a very healthy team in order for them to get something out of that. Are there times where you begin to work with a client where you've got to start on the mental fitness side before we start on the business operating side? Like, how do you approach that?
Hold on.
Well,
damn.
But before you answer that question, Joe, I just want to ask if Joe paid you to ask him that question, Joe.
I did not.
Absolutely not.
Look at that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
One of us
All right.
prepared for podcasts,
that's amazing.
and one of us doesn't. Okay?
What a setup. That is unbelievable. Joe, that's a 80-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle. Let's go.
Know. Let's see if I fluff it. I think that's why I started it. I saw it all the time. I don't know about you guys, you're teaching them a very simple rule, and then all of a sudden they're going places where it's like, holy shit, what the fuck's happening in this room? They're turning on each other, right? Those moments, when I'm in it, it's too late. I can't say, hey, let's back up and let's talk about mental fitness. But it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to call it out. And something like that, if I can almost feel it, like if I've got trauma from it, so it's hard to unremember. But like when that moment happens, that's where I was like going, you guys just nailed it. That is an example of smart and healthy. You tell me if this feels which way it's leaning right now, because let's get it on track. Let's remember there's a healthier way to do this, because we're bringing up an issue doesn't mean we have to jam it down each other's throats and turn on one another. So in fact, let's create a space where we can see what really we're arguing about. And let's just go a little bit deeper. Does that resonate with you guys here? Right? And just allowing them to see what it's like when somebody else's mental fit like their coach. I love showing that. I love showing the resilience of when everybody thinks their world's about to end and going, is it really? Maybe not. Let's just slow down.
Joe, when you talk about that, it reminds me of something that Don Tenney said about EOS implementers in the room, which is that we are peacemakers. And certainly through some of the tools and disciplines that we use, and we do have to enter the danger, and we need those issues to come out. But what you're talking about here is being able to go there and do that, but in a healthy way, and be the peacemaker. Yes. I can hear it in your voice.
Thanks,
and
man.
That's so refreshing. Do you find that this is something that you have to employ with all of your teams now?
It definitely shows up in the session room, especially when you hire me. I just kind of come with that. And I set those boundaries in the room. I think it's something that, hey, we can get really focused and achieve what we predict, but not at the cost of being great people with one another. And I take that commitment very seriously as an EOS implementer. And that's the added value I give them, as far as, we're all masterfully trained guys in these tools. Like we've really been taught by the best. And Don Tenney, come on, man, that guy is the peacemaker, right? Like that gentle soul that can help you get deeper by just slowing down. Oh, he's just an inspiration. And just to let that be in the room, what do you think that does for a client's mindset? Right? That now they're willing to just really tap into what open and honest really means. Maybe open and honest means tapping into being open and honest with ourselves for once. And I love that. I love that possibility, and I love holding that space.
Most of our listeners, Joe, hear this and they're like, hell yeah, it makes sense. You said something earlier, and I want to give them kind of something to do, right? Not just something to think about. And so, you said earlier, you gave us this like quick hitter list of 3 things. It was like, I don't remember what exactly they were, but they were something along the lines of, you got to recognize it, decide, and then do. I don't remember. Does that ring a bell? I would love for our listeners to be able to leave their listening today with like kind of a way to kind of start to use the earlier metaphor, to like start at least doing a curl. Like what's the exercise they could start doing today that would help them get to this place that you keep describing so well?
I love that. I'm gonna try. I and maybe I'll try with kind of like I think the weightlifting thing kind of helped us all kind of picture something. I'm also a full contact martial artist, right? So I compete in what's called bare knuckle knockdown fighting, right? Well, I used to compete. Okay. And in that, you need to be prepared. You need to know the techniques, right? You got to know how to throw a punch, how to throw a kick, all those things. You got to know your placement, where your hands need to be. All those things are important things. And you also have to put the practice in of being able to compete at that level where we're not practicing anymore. We're giving everything we got, and you got to build a resilience in yourself in order to do that. And then, and a lot of times when you do fight, you fight on a fight day, and what you do is you do a fight camp, which is 12 weeks of preparation, of getting your mind ready, honing those skills, allowing yourself to be there. And then on the day of, the most important thing is to trust your training and just let it flow from you. And so that's the analogy of being able to really be able to let your freak flag fly when it comes to your business while it's humming along. Is you need to be free of hesitation and able to flow. We've talked about that, right? That flow state that you need to be in. And I can still hear my sensei go, just trust your training, Joe. Just breathe and trust your training. You've done all the hard work. I think the same way for running our businesses and being leaders. And so what that means is we've got to, for that training, that's a black belt. A black belt is not some guy reacting out of fear. We're reacting out right out of survival mode. I've never been in a fight before. I close my eyes and do this. Hopefully it works. We got to make a shift to that black belt presence. And I like to call that the sage. And that sage is your older, wiser self, the one that has been through it all and in this moment can know what's really important in this moment. That's your sage. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever felt there in your business careers, was there a moment that just knocked you down to the knees, but you wouldn't change it for anything because it was the moment that changed you and taught you to be better? That's what I'm talking about. Wouldn't you like to access that mindset every time the shit hits the fan? That's what I'm talking about, that sage. And then what you want to do is train it so that it shows up not just when everything's great, it shows up when you need it. And that's the resilience part. And you've got to build that resilience in yourself that lets you take the impact and bounce back farther than ever. And that's the resilience part. And then finally, a habit of thinking. And that's what you habitualize when panic happens. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a breath and slow down and really get present in the moment and see what it's trying to teach me. That's a habit of thinking. You got to practice that. You got to do the reps in order to kind of be able to count on this skill set when you need it. So that is what I think. As far as giving your audience something, there is something that I'll share with you. It's a link called the Saboteur Assessment, and it's a powerful tool that understands your survival mind. So you just ask a bunch of questions, and then it'll start. I saw Josh nodding when I was talking about being a high achiever. Sounds like we probably have that in common, Josh. That's a profile there, and it's going to rate it and say how high that is from 1 to 10, and it just lets you know what it's like to do that. The truth about our survival skills are they're actually that they're there to warn us. So they're there because they want to stop us from harm. So it's very natural for us to overstretch them. But if we can settle them down and keep them in a sweet spot, then you can use it to find what the moment's really trying to teach you instead of leveraging panic. So that's I hope that's good enough a nugget, like maybe a link and maybe that story. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think that's good. Let me restate it. And like, that saboteur assessment, we'll share the link when we publish the podcast, but that's a thing to help people kind of find not only kind of the things that work against them, but when you can do that, kind of have more understanding of what it means to be sage, right?
Yes.
So first one is like get a good grasp on what it means to show up as your older, wiser self, in your words. Build the knowledge. Second thing is do it even when it's hard. That resilience thing, right? Yeah. So like man, I'm coming to my older, wiser self when it's easy all the time.
Yes,
I'm very good at that. Yeah. Okay. So
yes,
sage, and then be resilient. Be in sage all the time, and then third, make it so that you can call on that. Kind of build the habit, build the muscle, get stronger and stronger and stronger at it. Yeah?
Yes.
And the first step in that is like you got to get to know the things that are working against your stage, and that's the saboteurs. Cool, I love that. That's a great kind of offer.
You gave me a memory. You gave me a memory. The first time I did my first full contact match, I was actually fighting a very seasoned professional, and he was literally called the Killer. Like that was his damn nickname. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, cool. So, I trained, I was ready for this thing and all that, but I was fucking panicked walking into the Killer. Right. And what memory came up for me is we were in there and my teacher just said to me, well, first of all, I said, what the fuck am I doing here? And he said, remember, you trained for this. You asked for this. This is what you want. Let this moment teach you what it's supposed to. Breathe. And when I went in and I faced him, I started looking at his eyes, not like what was behind them, but like just noticing the details of them. Noticed that he had like a hazily brown tinge on them. Then all of a sudden we were fighting. And man, it was flowing from me. That's what I mean. Being able to remove yourself from this situation, just find that moment of stillness that creates clarity, that lets you just be your best version of you.
Look at that, Joe coming in here dropping that sage wisdom, boy. that baritone voice. All right. Well, I mean, that was a great episode. Joe, that was unbelievable. Josh, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
For our listeners, take it from the guy who faced the Killer. And for our heroes out there in the world, those entrepreneurs and founders, what I'm taking away is the fight is coming, and you know it. There's no way to avoid it. For all of the people that we work with, there are multiple fights lined up. And what I want you to hear from Joe today is be prepared. If you wait until you're in the fight, it's too late.
That's so true.
So do yourself a favor, take the assessment, and also get yourself mentally fit. So when those challenges and obstacles inevitably darken your doorstep, you'll be ready, just like Joe was ready to face the Killer. What do you got, Clint?
Man, I don't think I have any more nuggets. Joe's like always kind of just dropping wisdom in every interaction I have with him. But Joe, thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here.
Guys, this is really a cool format. Thanks for that. Thanks for you guys too. Really appreciate this.
Appreciate that. So when we post this, everybody who's listening, we'll post a link on all the places in your podcast description, that kind of sort of stuff. So please do take that saboteur assessment. I've done it. It's eye-opening, helping you kind of figure out. We're all on this journey to know ourselves better, and it's a really good tool. So anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. My name is Clay. His name is Josh. We were lucky to be joined by Joe today. We're all EOS implementers, and we love helping entrepreneurs build great businesses. Thanks for joining us. Please rate, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and we'll see you next week. Bye everybody.
Thanks, guys.